One at a Time by John Homer Miller, author of Take a Look at Yourself. I discovered years ago that I could not escape my worries by trying to run away from them, but that I could banish them by changing my mental attitude toward them. I discovered that my worries were not outside but inside myself. As the years have gone by, I have found that time automatically takes care of most of my worries. In fact, I frequently find it difficult to remember what I was worrying about a week ago. So I have a rule: never to fret over a problem until it is at least a week old. Of course, I can't always put a problem completely out of mind for a week at a time. But I can refuse to allow it to dominate my mind until the allotted 7 days have passed. Either the problem has solved itself or I have so changed my mental attitude that it no longer has the power to trouble me greatly. I have been greatly helped by reading the philosophy of Sir William Osier, a man who was not only a great physician, but a great artist in the greatest of all arts, the art of living. One of his statements has helped me immensely in banishing worries. Sir William said, at a dinner given in his honor, "More than to anything else, I owe whatever success I have had to the power of settling down to the day's work and trying to do it well to the best of my ability and letting the future take care of itself. In handling troubles, I have taken as my motto the words of an old parrot that my father used to tell me about. Father told me of a parrot that was kept in a cage hanging over the doorway in a hunting club in Pennsylvania. As the members of the club passed through the door, the parrot repeated over and over the only words he knew. 'One at a time, gentlemen, one at a time.' Father taught me to handle my troubles that way. 1 at a time, gentlemen, 1 at a time. I have found that taking my troubles 1 at a time has helped me to maintain calm and composure amidst pressing duties and unending engagements. 1 at a time, gentlemen, 1 at a time. Here again, we have one of the basic principles in conquering worry. Live in day-tight compartments. Why don't you turn back and read that chapter again? I now look for the green light by Joseph M. Cotter. 1534, Fargo Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. From the time I was a small boy, throughout the early stages of young manhood, and during my adult life, I was a professional worrier. My worries were many and varied. Some were real. Most of them were imaginary. Upon rare occasions I would find myself without anything to worry about, then I would worry for fear I might be overlooking something. Then, 2 years ago, I started out on a new way of living. This required making a self-analysis of my faults and a very few virtues, a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. This brought out clearly what was causing all this worry. The fact was that I could not live for today alone. I was fretful of yesterday's mistakes and fearful of the future. I was told over and over that today was the tomorrow I had worried about yesterday. But it wouldn't work on me. I was advised to live on a 24-hour program. I was told that today was the only day over which I had any control and that I should make the most of my opportunities each day. I was told that if I did that, I would be so busy I would have no time to worry about any other day, past or future. That advice was logical, but somehow I found it hard to put these darned ideas to work for me. Then, like a shot from out of the dark, I found the answer, and where do you suppose I found it? On a Northwestern Railroad platform at 7 p.m. on May 31, 1945. It was an important hour for me. That is why I remember it so clearly. We were taking some friends to the train. They were leaving on the City of Los Angeles, a streamliner, to return from a vacation. War was still on, crowds were heavy that year. Instead of boarding the train with my wife, I wandered down the tracks towards the front of the train. I stood looking at the big shiny engine for a minute. Presently I looked down the track and saw a huge semaphore. An amber light was showing. Immediately this light turned to a bright green. At that moment, the engineer started clanging a bell. I heard the familiar "all aboard." And, in a matter of seconds, that huge streamliner began to move out of that station on its 2,300-mile trip. My mind started spinning. Something was trying to make sense to me. I was experiencing a miracle. Suddenly it dawned on me. The engineer had given me the answer I had been seeking. He was starting out on that long journey with only one green light to go by. If I had been in his place, I would want to see all the green lights for the entire journey. Impossible, of course, yet that was exactly what I was trying to do with my life, sitting in the station, going no place, because I was trying too hard to see what was ahead for me. My thoughts kept coming. That engineer didn't worry about trouble that he might encounter miles ahead. There probably would be some delays, some slowdowns, but wasn't that why they had signal systems? Amber lights reduce speed and take it easy. Red lights, real danger up ahead, stop. That was what made train travel safe. A good signal system. I asked myself why I didn't have a good signal system for my life. My answer was I did have one. God had given it to me. He controls it, so it has to be foolproof. I started looking for a green light. Where could I find it? Well, if God created the green lights, why not ask Him? I did just that. And now, by praying each morning, I get my green light for that day. I also occasionally get amber lights that slow me down. Sometimes I get red lights that stop me before I crack up. No more worrying for me since that day 2 years ago when I made this discovery. During those 2 years, over 700 green lights have shone for me, and the trip through life is so much easier without the worry of what color the next light will be. No matter what color it may be, I will know what to do. How John D. Rockefeller lived on borrowed time for 45 years. John D. Rockefeller, Sr. had accumulated his first million at the age of 33. At the age of 43, he had built up the largest monopoly the world has ever seen, the Great Standard Oil Company. But where was he at 53? Worry had got him at 53. Worry and high-tension living had already wrecked his health. At 53 he looked like a mummy, says John K. Winkler, one of his biographers. At 53, Rockefeller was attacked by mystifying digestive maladies that swept away his hair, even the eyelashes, and all but a faint wisp of eyebrow. So serious was his condition, says Winkler, that at one time John D. was compelled